Dembele has said yes to PSG. Dembele has agreed on a 5-year deal with his agent, and the agent was basically almost forcing for his client Dembele to say yes and to put the pen on paper. Now it is basically official that Dembele will be a PSG player. He will no longer play for FC Barcelona. It has also been said from Fabrizio Romano that PSG have sent a letter to inform Barcelona, and they're now trying their best way to close the deal within the time frame. So the full deal can probably be completed within the next 24 hours. And so here is what I do want to talk about for today. I've already said that it is strange to me to see that Dembele is leaving Barcelona to go to PSG, because the only way I can see Dembele say yes to PSG over Barcelona is if he is only looking for a bigger bag. That's basically it. And so if he's moving, that means that he's looking for the bigger bag. And in a way, we are looking at a trader, because we have a manager that fully supports him. Xavi has said over and over and over again that Dembele is a important player and a key player to his project and has gave him importance. He has revived his career. But Dembele and the agent do want to make their own decisions. They want to do their own thing and go to PSG, and that's okay, fine, right? If that's going to be the case, then we need to continue to move forward and look elsewhere. Now the next question is going to be this: who do we bring in now knowing that he is leaving? Because there's very little players that can do what Dembele does in terms of 1v1s. And not only that, but Dembele is also two-footed. And so for us to find a player who is good at 1v1s and can also shoot with his right and shoot with his left, there's like little to no chance that Barcelona is going to be able to bring someone like him in this summer transfer window. And so this is the reason why Xavi Hernandez did not want to let him go, is because he's very hard to replicate. So with his departure, the main question is also this: how does this affect on how Xavi views this upcoming season in terms of the formation, the system, and the players? Because if Xavi wants to continue to use a 3-2-2-3 system where you have a 4-man midfield and having a false winger on the left, it's no longer going to work, because in order for that system to work, you need a great right winger that's good on 1v1s. But now we no longer have that. Yes, we have someone like Rafinha, but he is not as good as Dembele in terms of 1v1s. The whole point of that system was to allow Alejandro Balde to play as a left winger, having a 4-man midfield, and most importantly, isolating Dembele on the right side to be by himself with one more player, because we know he was capable to run past that player. Again, I'm not trying to shame Rafinha. Rafinha is a player that requires a lot of support. Dembele doesn't. And so now let's move on towards the next conversation. This is where I do want to introduce who should come in, and the player that I believe should come in is going to be Bernardo Silva. He is going to be one of the 3 players that we are going to be talking about. It says here, according to Relevo, that in case of Dembele's departure, Barcelona could go for Bernardo Silva. It is a name that is strongly indicated by Xavi Hernandez. Now, let me get another thing very straight, because I do like to overanalyze many players. If we compare Bernardo Silva to Dembele, Bernardo Silva does not touch Dembele in terms of 1v1 duels. The stats are just not there. We know that Bernardo Silva is quality. He's a top quality player, a Champions League winner, but in terms of just 1v1s, he cannot replicate what Dembele does. And if you look at these stats right here, Dembele is far superior in many of these stats compared to Bernardo Silva. Like for example, the crosses per 90, Dembele does more. Offensive duels per 90, Dembele does more. His chances of winning those offensive duels, Dembele has it at a much higher rate at 51%, while you have Bernardo Silva at 37%. And so you can see that Dembele is superior on that. But what is the reason on why Xavi Hernandez would want Bernardo Silva in order to replace Dembele? And I think it's because Bernardo Silva has one thing that Dembele does not have, and that is reliability. Bernardo Silva can for sure guarantee you that he will be there in many of the games that you will be playing, right, in the upcoming season. And I think that Xavi Hernandez does find massive importance on that, because for Dembele to be missing like 37% of the games that he was supposed to be available for in the past 4 to 5 years, it's not that great to hear. And we need players who are reliable and 100% ready to go. Bernardo Silva barely gets injured, and I strongly believe that he is one of the best dribblers in the world, but he needs to be in the right environment and surrounded by the correct group of players. And I think that Xavi is up to that task, which makes Bernardo Silva a very important signing. And we are going to be discussing how Bernardo Silva is going to be getting that support later down this video. All of this is going to be making sense by the time this video does end. But if you just place Bernardo Silva in Dembele's role, right, his old role, it would not work. But there is a way you could accommodate Bernardo into this Barcelona team. And here is going to be an example on how Bernardo Silva likes to score his goals and how he does act as his prime self. If he has a lot of service around him, like you see here, you can see that he's very high up the pitch, a very different position compared to where Dembele receives the ball. You can see that Kevin De Bruyne puts a through ball between Cruz and Modric, Bernardo Silva is waiting there in that open space. He sees exactly what he needs to do and when and where he's going to receive the ball. He receives the ball and he scores the goal. He's very fast, very quick with his feet. And when he is about to get pressured, he usually makes the decision on where he's going to place the ball to score the goal. And that's fascinating to me because I know that players like Pedri, Frankie, and Gavi can place those type of through balls to Bernardo Silva in order for him to score goals. It's very much possible. And this is why I do say, if you put Bernardo Silva in the correct environment and scenario, and he's surrounded by the correct group of players, and he's fully supported, you will get the best out of him and he will score many goals. And so we will be slightly touching on Bernardo Silva again in this video, but let's move on towards the next player that should be at Barcelona, and that is going to be Abde. Because look, if Barcelona are going to be losing a 1 versus 1 type of player, someone who loves to do 1v1 duels, Abde is the player that you should be keeping because he's the closest thing to Dembele. Like if Xavi finds it so important that every team, right, and especially with his team, that they need someone who is good on being isolated, Abde is your player. And here's a scary thing. Like earlier today, a couple of hours ago, it was reported that Abde has agreed to join Real Betis. This report came out at the same time Dembele made the decision to listen to the offers of PSG, and we're like, there's no way Barcelona they're going to get destroyed within these next 4 to 5 days by losing Abde and also losing Dembele, because these are two players who are very similar, and it's almost like suicide for Barcelona because now we're left with like no players that are good at being isolated and going on 1v1s. But here's going to be the biggest twist. There has been other reports that have stated that, however, Betis is a subject to the financial fair play and they will have to generate a lot of departures in order to start talks with FC Barcelona, right? So they have to show proof to everybody, right, to Barcelona, to La Liga, that they're able to bring in Abde for around 30 to 35 million euros. If they cannot sell players, very similar to how Barcelona is today, if they can't sell players, they can't bring Abde, even if Abde says yes to Real Betis. And so because of this slight delay in Abde going to Real Betis, and now there's like a huge stop in this operation, this would allow more time for Barcelona to say, oh look, we have Dembele leaving, like let's stop this operation of Abde to Real Betis because we need someone like Abde. And Xavi Hernandez is also telling us that we need to keep Abde because he is the closest profile to Dembele. So this is exactly what's going to go on. Abde will stay. If Dembele leaves, Abde will for sure have continuity. Javi Miguel has also stated that the possible departure of Dembele completely closes the possibility of a new loan or sale of Abde. He could only leave for an offer of more than 30 million euros or more. Xavi counts 100% on the Moroccan for his progressiveness and his ability to go on 1v1s. So I don't know, something tells me that if Xavi knows that he'll be losing something on the right, he's gonna want to gain something on the left, and you can do that with Abde. Remember that run that Abde did against Arsenal that converted into a 1-0 scoreline around the 20th minute. It was an amazing run, and we're like, this is exactly what we were missing on the left side last season. And so Abde brings a lot of flair, a lot of intensity. He knows how to take the ball away and then go progressive. And so this situation right now, like this moment, this is I would say the turning point of Abde's career, because I feel like Xavi Hernandez is going to end up talking to Abde very soon once Dembele does completely leave, and he'll say, hey look, we need you more than ever. Yes, you were a important player, but now you're much more of a important player, knowing that you're the only one that can supply us with the quality that Dembele used to give us. And you better bet that Abde will be generating so much confidence from that, because Abde is someone that listens to Xavi. And so if Abde ends up turning up against AC Milan and Tottenham, right, in these remaining friendlies, and he scores goals and provides a lot of assists, and he proves to the world that Abde, you know, like he's here to stay at Barcelona, what does that say for the system? Because if we place him on the left, are we going to continue to use a 3-2-2-3 system and then have Abde as a left interior midfielder, like a false left winger? That would be kind of weird, you don't think? Now, we can also argue that we could place Abde on the right side, but I feel like you're limiting what he could do because he's right-footed. So maybe could we see a reverse system in the upcoming season? Like instead of having a false left winger, we have a false right winger, and we place Abde on the left, Lewandowski as the striker, and then having Bernardo Silva as a right winger, right? Now we're going to go back to this whole system about how we're going to be implementing Bernardo Silva, because if we have a front three of Bernardo Silva, Abde, and Lewandowski, we can place Bernardo Silva as the fourth midfielder, having him become the false right winger. I can really see that happening. But here's going to be another problem, right? This is crazy, because if we place Bernardo Silva as a false right winger, it would be very weird to also see Jules Koundé as a right wing back, because that's what's going to happen. Because if you have a false left winger, you're going to be having a left wing back, and that was Balde. Balde knows how to do that. But if you have Koundé as a right wing back, it's going to be weird. He's not someone that likes to be constantly running up and down the field, because at the end of the day, he is a full-time center back or a full-time right center back, not a right wing back. And now this is also going to lead us towards the next player, right? You see how everything is now finally starting to get connected. It is going to be Cancelo. Cancelo is a true right wing back. If you bring Bernardo Silva and you place him on the right side, have him become the fourth midfielder, and you place Cancelo there, he can become your right wing back instead of Koundé, and you place Koundé as the right center back next to Araujo. So you see how everything is coming into one. It's very exciting, right? With the departure of Dembele leaving, it opens up a whole new system, a whole new formation, and just so much more possibilities. So this could be a blessing in disguise. We just have to take the exit of Dembele very well. And it says here, according to Fabrizio Romano, he has stated that if Dembele leaves Barcelona, part of the budget could be used for the new right back, which is Joao Cancelo, being the top priority, and maybe Ivan Fresneda, who is another option in Barcelona's list. And so I can really see Cancelo enjoying himself as a right wing back at Barcelona, making those overlapping runs every time we see Rafinha going central or Bernardo Silva going central. Joao Cancelo really does complement what Rafinha and Bernardo Silva could bring in what they do on the pitch. He knows how to make very good crosses inside the box. And can you imagine players like Lewandowski finding those crosses, Vitor finding those crosses? Joao Cancelo would be a perfect fit to the system that Xavi Hernandez could potentially make in the upcoming season. And this would also allow, right, having Joao Cancelo as a right back and then converting to a right wing back, it would allow Koundé to play as a center back much more, which is a place that Koundé does want to be most of the time. He has argued with Xavi on this situation. And so I can see all of this happening. It's just going to take a lot of work, and we'll see the plans of Xavi and Joan Laporta and Mateo Lemán. It's going to be very interesting. Again, I just want to say good luck to Dembele. If they want to go there, let them go there. We cannot complain. We just have to see how can we adapt from this situation. So Visca Barça, we love Barcelona forever. If we can deal with the fact that Messi left us, we can deal with anybody, my friends. Don't worry. We're going to be together more than ever, and we're going to go through this season together more than ever and bring even more success. And so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.